Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So today we are gonna learn how to install and configure the Fortigate Firewall on a virtual machine. First, we download the ISO file of the virtual machine. You'll find it below in the comments. You find the link for it. Okay. As for me, I've already downloaded. So now we open the virtual machine. We go to File, Open, and we choose this one, then Open. I accept the license agreement. Next, you choose the name for it. So for me, I'm gonna choose Fortigate/1 and the storage path for the new virtual machine where you want to save everything. So as for me, I chose I opened a new folder in my desktop, which is Fortigate VM. Okay, and import. Okay, so now we have to edit the virtual machine settings. First, we have several network settings to work on. So we go to the search engine and we write virtual network editor. Right click on it, run as administrator to be able to edit the settings in it. We go to it. First, you have the VMnet one. It should be bridged, only bridged, and we choose the place where we are going to bridge it to. So we choose the name of our Wi-Fi. Then we should add two networks: VMnet 10 and VMnet 11. First, we add VMnet 10. We choose the host only and check the connect a host virtual adapter to this network. And we uncheck use local DHCP because we are going to provide the IP for it. So for the IP, since this is virtual VMnet 10, I chose 192.168.10.0, and the subnet we won't change it because this subnet that we are going to use. Then we add another network, virtual network, which is VMnet 11. Okay, and we do the same configuration for it. So now we check the connect a host virtual adapter to this network, and we uncheck use local DHCP, and we change the IP to 192.168.11.0. Now click on apply. Now it updates the networks for the virtual hosts. Okay, so we we click on OK, and we don't need it anymore, and we still have one more change to do. We open the change adapter options. Now we have the virtual network adapter of the 10 and the 11 that we added. So first, I'd like to make the names more clear. So I'm gonna rename it to 110. Double click on it or click and enter in order to change its IP. Okay, we change the IP to 192.168.10.100 subnet mask as it is, and the default gateway we provide it by this default gateway 192.168.10.1. Okay, now we're gonna do the same thing for the 11. So rename line 11. Double click on it, properties. We choose Internet Protocol version 4 TCP/IPv4. We change it to 192.168.11.100, subnet mask as it is, and the default gateway 192.168.11.1. Press on OK. Warning: multiple default gateways are intended to provide. Yes, you directly press on yes to save it. And OK. Close. Now we don't need this anymore, nor this. We go back to our virtual machine. So now we are going to do some changes in the network adapters. We're gonna choose the VMNet for the first one. For the network adapter 2, we're gonna choose the VMNet 10 and the network adapter 3 custom and choose VMNet 11. Then we press on OK, and it's time to power on the machine. Okay, so now it's loading up. Provides us with the serial number of the machine that we have of the VM, of course, of Fortigate, and it states several things like disk usage changed, and it will reboot. Since it is partitioned into two, it will check both CDs. Okay. The system goes down, then it will reboot to go up. And after that, we'll be able to make the changes, or in other words, to configure. So system is starting. I have to wait a little bit of time. First, we log in as admin, and the password is always by default. You press on enter. And when we press on enter, here it is said you are forced to change your password. Please input a new password. So you pick any password that you want, enter, then you must confirm your password. Now, the first step, we can show system interface. We can see the interfaces that we have for each port. So here sometimes like the admin sessions are removed because of the license registration status, which is changed to invalid, because for me, like, I'm using the trial license, not the original one. So we log in again with the same username and the new password that you chose. Okay, so we're gonna work on port 1. In order to edit port 1, we should configure the system interface. So we write conf, no need to write all of the word, conf sys interface. Okay, now we are in the interface. So in order to edit port 1, we write edit port 1. Okay, at first the mode is the HCP, but we have to change it to static mode in order to choose the IP and that NAT mask that we are going to work on. So as for me, I chose IP 192.168.1.5. So in order to change the IP, we write set mode static. Okay, set mode static. Now we will be able to change the IP. set IP here because we are setting an IP in static mode 192.168.1.5 space. We are obliged to write the NAT mask because without providing the NAT mask, the IP won't be changed, and the action will be unknown or missing something after the IP. That's how it states incomplete command in the end. So you must add a NAT mask. So as we said, space 255.255.255.0. Now we hit enter. It's successful. Now we have to allow access for the ping, HTTPS, HTTP, SSH, and telnet. So set allow access, one word, no space, HTTP, HTTPS, ping, SSH, telnet. There is no order of writing the allow access. Like you can write HTTPS, ping, SSH, telnet, then HTTP. You are not obliged in an ordered manner. Now we hit enter and end. And now to check if the configuration was done successfully, show sys interface. We can see now that port 1, it's the VDOM is set to root, the IP that we chose, and the allow access, and all of this. More. Now we go to the browser in order to access the GUI interface of the firewall. So you press on Control plus Alt in order to get out of your virtual machine, so you'll be able to move the mouse. So now open browser, type your IP 192.168.1.5. Now you enter the username and the password, admin and admin. Okay, here we have an issue. Evaluation license has expired. Upload a new license. You can see that it has expired on 1969. So in order to correct this thing, to correct this issue, the evaluation license has expired. We do something in which we write execute factory reset. When we write this command, it will go back to its factory reset. The virtual machine reboots. After rebooting, we have to do all the steps or the 4 or 5 commands that we wrote in order to configure the virtual machine, and we'll be able to enter the GUI interface. The license will be renewed for 14 days. So now we hit enter. This operation will reset the system to factory default. Yes, that's what we want. We press on Y, and the system is resetting to factory default. It will take a couple of seconds. The system is going down now. Reboot. The good thing is that it doesn't take a lot of time in order to reboot. Of course, it depends on your machine, on your processor and stuff, but even if it is not that high, it won't take time. Okay, now we should log in again. Admin. The password is, we hit enter. You are forced to change password. Choose any password that you want and confirm it. Now we logged in again. Show system interface. You can see that we are back to the system default settings. So we need to do the configuration again. So we enter conf bad. Conf system interface. In order to configure the system interface, we want to configure port 1. So edit port 1, set mode static in order to provide our own IP. Now set IP. You can see that the commands are not long. They are 5 commands and they are short. They can be easily memorized. Set IP 192 as we chose before. You can choose whatever IP that you want along with the NAT mask. This is the most important thing. So now set allow access. Once again, one word. Now I'm gonna change the way of the order of the allow access. Now I'm gonna start by ping, SSH, telnet. Here is to show you, I'm doing this thing to show you that the order is not important. HTTP and HTTPS. Now and we go back to show system interface just to check that the configuration was saved successfully. Okay, now we go back to the browser. 192.168. Of course, you enter the IP that you chose. Credentials, admin. Now here we can see that we entered the GUI interface. At the beginning, we have the Fortigate setup. Perform the following steps to complete the setup of this Fortigate. So we changed our password. The firmware is upgraded, and now we have to continue. Begin. Okay, so now we have to choose the host name. You can choose whatever host name you would like. For me, I'm gonna choose Fortigate/1. Sorry, 1. We press on OK. Now we have this window. We either the optimal is by default. So here we press directly on OK. The page will load. We don't need the video. Okay, when press on OK, this page will open for us. Okay, now we have to configure the both networks that we chose. Now here, as we can see, like as I said in the beginning, for the license, they will tell here we can be sure that the license will end in 14 days. Okay. Now we press on OK because we don't need it anymore. We press on cancel because we don't need it anymore. We go back to the status. We choose the network. After choosing the network, we choose the interfaces. We choose done. Port 1. And we press on edit in order to edit. So at first, we should choose an alias, which is van1. Go down. We check that the status is enabled. So we see when the status is like a green arrow inside a white circle, then it is enabled. When it is red, then it is disabled. We press on OK. We'll go back to the main page, the interfaces. Then we can see, first we can see that since the port is edited, it will appear here, and the access for it is ping, HTTPS, SSH, HTTP, and telnet. So now we have to edit port 2. Press on edit, of course. For the port 2, the lines that we're gonna choose is LAN 10. And here we have to choose the IP address that we chose in the first in the beginning of the video. So for the LAN 10, here there's something that I did. The naming of 110 and 111, it should be LAN 10 and LAN 11. Sorry, it was my mistake. So we directly change it. Not that big deal. Okay, we go back to our page. We choose the IP. So we gave it a static IP, which is 192.168.10.1, along with /24. Then we go to the administrative access, which is this, and we give it the access for HTTPS, SSH, ping, SNMP, FMG access, and FTM. And here also we have to write in the command that this is LAN 10. And okay. Now we're gonna do the same thing for port 3. We're gonna edit it in order to be LAN 11. So we press on it and press on edit. We go to the alias, write LAN/11. We go down to the IP and net mask. Here we're gonna give it 192.168.11.1/24. Then we go down to the administrative access, give it access to HTTPS, SSH, ping, SNMP, FMG access, and FTM, and the same steps that we did for the LAN 10. We give it the name LAN 11, and we press on OK. As we can see here, that both LAN 10 and LAN 11 are done and successfully edited. Now we have to go to the testing. In order to do the testing, we press on the search engine in our Windows. We type CMD in order to open the command prompt, and we ping the first LAN, which is LAN 10, in order to see if it's pingable. Then everything is up and running, and all our configuration is correct. So ping 192.168.10.1. In the command prompt, if we write ping with the IP that we want and press enter, it will give us only 4 packets. So if we type ping with the IP /t, which is continuous ping, it will keep on pinging. it will give us still we stop it. We stop it by Control T. Okay. At first you saw that in the first ping there was a request timed out. Sometimes it happens only for the first packet because maybe it took uh, a bit more time for the LAN to work properly. Now we're gonna test also LAN 11, which is ping 192.168.11.1 continuous ping. Okay, request timed out, but it continued. As I said already, sometimes it takes a bit of time. Here we can see that both IPs are pingable, so we can say that everything is good. And now the FortiGate firewall is installed on a virtual machine, configured. The port was configured, which we chose port 1, and we provided it with the IP needed, and we changed a few settings in the network in order to have the firewall up and running in the GUI interface. Thank you for this was our tutorial for the day. Thank you.